and trained in Stanislavski at eight. Otra vez. Ay, a ver. Sabrosura Hola manis, welcome to Café con Pam, where we share our stories over cafecito. Yo soy Pam, and we bring you inspiring stories from first-generation Latine and people of the global majority. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, ring the bell so you never miss our cafecito time. And hey, for more incredible stories, tune into our podcast, Café con Pam. Today, we have a conversation with Daniel André, who is a filmmaker, an artist, a music producer, born in Cuernavaca, Mexico, and raised in New Jersey, just outside of New York City. Daniel started acting at the age of 5 and trained in Stanislavski at age 9, working professionally in theater, television, and film throughout his teens. Daniel also studied film and media arts at the University of Arizona and Pima College in Tucson, Arizona, and he has a degree in film and digital arts. This conversation with Daniel was around his latest film, Running on Empty. Déjame te cuento what Running on Empty is about. Running on Empty is a brilliantly quirky romantic comedy about celebrating life and living it to its fullest. Mortimer is an odd but clever young man living a lukewarm existence in California's San Fernando Valley until he receives some life-changing news. Determined to make the most of every day, Mort sets out on a spirited quest to find meaning in his existence and discovers the girl of his dreams along the way. Y bueno, listeners, esta conversación was pretty quick, but we got to ask Daniel questions about the film, about his next steps, and I hope you enjoy it. Sin más, here's my conversation with Daniel André. Hola, Daniel. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Pam?
I'm well. Thank you for asking.
Awesome.
So the movie, this was super fun, a really great watch. I love that you talked about it being an anti-romcom. So tell me more about that.
Yeah, I think for me, just as a filmmaker or as an artist, when we are doing a specific medium, whether it's a movie, a painting, a song, there's structure, and there are certain rules that we sort of have to play within. But at the same time, for me, I like to play with those rules or kind of bend them a little bit, because I like to watch things. And really, what this film is it encapsulates a lot of films that I grew up watching, filmmakers that are kind of left of center. Charlie Kaufman is probably one of my all-time favorite screenwriters. Punch Drunk Love, Paul Thomas Anderson, After Hours from old Scorsese, 80s comedy. And so it was kind of a mixture and a combination of all those things.
For sure. I love that. And you mentioned the 90s film and also your background, which is diverse. So you've been in front of the camera, behind the camera. You also have a background in music. So how does that influence your work now?
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people ask me like why I don't compose any music for my films, and maybe I will someday. But for me, I mean, I really, when I'm working in a certain medium, I want to focus on that part of the filmmaking. So, I want all of my attention to be centered on either writing or producing and directing, and not sort of with the music thing. I kind of keep them all separate, and I kind of play in different sandboxes when I need to. But overall, I think I've known I wanted to direct movies since I was a small child, but at the same time, everything else that I've done in my life, whether it was acting and music or painting or any types of art, all contributed to helping me get this film made and having it kind of come out the way it is. One of the biggest things I think was acting and being able to relate to other actors and being able to sort of, I don't want to say give them the respect they deserve, but know how to. I think some people don't understand, like that's their thing. Their thing is to take the character you invented and make it their own, and reflect that back to you. And you as a director, yeah, you can give direction, but it's more about kind of just slightly steering maybe a little bit this, or asking them, hey, what about this? Versus, kind of going in heavy handed and saying, it's all about me, it's all about my vision. Because at the end of the day, it takes so many creative people to make a film. And the thing that I learned, and also I think in filmmaking in general, that help me at least is you have to figure out it's not all about me. It's about the project, and you have to, once you write it, you have to separate yourself from the project. And when you're inviting all of these other creatives in, you have to let them be creative and do what they do, and it has to be kind of a give and take. And if you don't have anything to give, then why is anyone want to get it? The very first thing you need a character that an actor wants to play.
Hmm.
And so when I'm writing this, I'm not writing it for me, I'm writing it for somebody else. And so that's, Kier read it and he loved the script, and then he gets to play this character, so that's what's in it for him. And then once Kier is on board, then whether it's Lucy or a company or this or that, then they're like, oh, okay, well, this is it, so that's what's in it for them. So it's all about making it not about you, actually. And so that's kind of how I try and go about things.
When did you realize that was important? Because as you were writing it, it's kind of like
Mm.
about you, but then getting to it and separating yourself from it, how did that happen?
I mean, I think it's just sort of maturity and just as an artist growing in general, what I've learned, but especially when I moved back to LA in 2012 with the intention of making films, um, that's the first thing you got to think about. Like, we all, as artists, we can be very self-absorbed or very into our own things. And I think a lot of times we forget about, like in a painting, you can make a painting any way you want. It can be all about you. Doesn't mean you're going to sell one, but you can still do that and have art in the world. But when you make a film, you're making it, like I said, it's a collaboration with so many people, and not just artists, with companies, with businesses. And you have to understand that you have to take yourself out of the equation a lot of times. And I think I really learned that after I wrote this film, I guess, maybe, because or kind of seeing how it went. And I think a lot of this stuff I did subconsciously, just because
Mm,
of the stuff I've learned throughout my life. But it really hit me when it was like, okay, when it's not about me, that's when everything comes together.
for sure. Did the characters change a little bit with the cast once the cast was selected, I guess?
Interesting. I haven't even thought about that. I mean, to me, like when I see it, when I see the film now, it's like we talk about the movie gods. I don't know if you hear about the movie gods, but they're real,
Hmm.
and when also as a filmmaker, when you make it about yourself and you're like, I just see this person in this role and it has to be this way and whatever, and you're never going to be happy.
Yeah.
And then again, you're going to get an actor in, maybe they do it a different way and you can't direct them the right way, and it makes it a hassle. But when you kind of like give it all to the movie gods, things work out the way it's supposed to be. And now I couldn't imagine any one of those characters being played by anyone else. And that's
Mm.
because, we had some help from the movie gods.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to mental health, because talking about
Mm,
death is not something,
mm.
one, that we talk about often or as openly as the main character did and Mort. And so, how was it for you to navigate that fine line without it making super comedic, but at the same time staying within, the trueness of losing someone? How was that process?
Yeah, it's strange. Again, I think it was something that just kind of subconsciously happened while I was writing it, but it was also, like with the Barry character, he kind of, he's kind of the pervy uncle, and he's, around, and he's also a mortician. I was very aware that you have to find a way to have it be a movie, and it is, even though it's a movie and it is a fantastical world, death is still a real thing. Funerals are still a real thing. And it also, too, I think, there's a scene later in the film where you see Mort at work doing his thing,
Yes. That
and
was deep.
that scene was really important because that really defined him and his character and his job and his motivation for wanting to do what he wants to do, which really is to be of service to other people. And without that scene, and without, kind of being conscious of all of that throughout, it's you still have to kind of be respectful of the subject matter because people go through that. Um, and I think, again, I think it's kind of the movie gods. It's a mix of our
Mhm.
cast and our crew and everything that came together that allowed it to kind of be expressed in the way that it did, was.
Amazing. What's next for you?
A lot of things, a lot of exciting things. I have in the background. It's a much bigger project, but I'm working on a project with Lowell Tolhurst from the band The Cure. He wrote a memoir a few years ago called "Cured: The Tale of Two Imaginary Boys," and it's essentially his memoir about him and Robert Smith met when they were five and kind of the conception of the band. And that's just that's a true passion project. They're been one of my favorite bands since I was a very young person. And so we have that. There's also a show in development about Tilda and Till Death Do Us Part, the dating service
Mm?
from the film running on Empty. And yeah, and then a lot of other things.
How fun.
There's a follow up we're working on, kind of in the same genre and tone as Mort as well, but there'll be more about that coming out soon.
It's a great character. Last question. What would you say to aspiring filmmakers?
Whew. That nobody is going to care about your film more than you, and also that it's in order to make a film and collaborate with others, you have to find a way to take yourself out of the equation, and figure out what's in it for other people. If you want this actor, if you want this producer, if you want to work with anybody, figure out what is in it for them, what would make them want to do this, and then become some version of that. Or like I said, it was, it started with the script, and what it gave was an actor, a character that they felt that they could express themselves through and do something positive with. So yeah, just really those things.
Love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much, Pam, I appreciate it.
Y bueno, me encantaría. I would love to hear what you think about this conversation. What would you have asked? Don't forget to go watch the film Running on Empty on your theaters coming out August 9th. Y bueno, cuéntame what you think after you watch it. Come back, let me know your thoughts. Thank you for stopping by. Remember to share this story, learn about all of our stories at cafeconpam.com. Stay shining. Yo soy Pam Rubias y nos vemos durante nuestro próximo café. Sabrosura,